friends. I wanted to review this pen for a long time. I got it about a year back, but the reason I couldn't check was because out of the box the pen was not working very well, and then half of the time it spent uninked, and the rest half of the time it was flying back to Japan for getting the issue sorted. The pen is Sailor King of Pen Professional Gear, or Pro Gear as you would call it, and once it's back, it's writing like a dream. A very beautiful pen, a very beautiful writer. This pen comes in a cardboard box, and you would have a kind of a leatherite finish to the inner pen case, which opens up to reveal a polishing cloth, basically a microfiber cloth, and cartridges. It had a pre-fitted converter, proprietary Sailor converter. And the pen is outside the box. Well, this is the Sailor Professional Gear King of Pen. True to its name, very well adorned, beautiful, lovely trims. Comes in various other finishes you have, and various other shapes. Pro Gear you have. I'm so sorry. It's King of Pen Ebonite. Then you have, I think, a bluish color to it, King of Pen Ocean. I'm not really clear about that. And you have, this one is flat topped and bottom, and you have a cigar shaped, which is Sailor Pro Gear 1911. So let's come to the pen. At the finial you have the Sailor logo, which has a kind of a vintage appearance to that. You have a lovely clip which has a typical Sailor clip appearance. You have lovely adorned trims which has a corrugated upper margin, and then you have Sailor Japan founded 1911 written on that. The pen there is a small step down, and then you have a small ring at the back. This is not a piston filler, it's a cartridge converter pen, and then you have again a very slightly rounded bottom there. The pen opens up in just about quarter to 2 turns, and you have a lovely girthy writing section. And the most beautiful part of the pen, apart from its trims, is the nib of the pen. Let me get that right for you. So there you have a big nib, almost rivals a Mont Blanc 149. I'll just show the comparisons with it also. And then you have a lovely two-tone appearance with marvelous etching on the side, patterns on the side. You have a Sailor logo 1911 21K, and this one is a broad nib. Sailor nibs are marked on the side. You have a big feed, big fin, and then around a small writing section, which I never complained, because the large nib basically gives a good distance from the paper. A small flaring up at the bottom. You have a small ring here. The writing section, the threads are not into your pulp, so they are not very well perceptible also. The barrel opens up to have a metallic section. This one writing section, this is metallic, and then you have a typical Sailor converter. Also accepts cartridges. The pen can be used posted, unposted. I won't post this pen. It would get a small sole marks on the back, but if you post this, you would find it makes it a very little top heavy. It's a resin pen. It's not as such very heavy, and it posts pretty well, and posts slightly deep also. And without posting, you can hold it very well in your hand. The dimensions of this pen are pretty big. However, if you want to compare this to some other big size pens, and one of my friends also wanted me to compare this with a big sized custom Urushi, what I'll do is I'll just slightly turn this like this, okay? So the shadow of the light won't be there. Here you have Sailor King of Pen, then you have a Pilot Custom Urushi, which actually is a very big pen and dwarfs the Sailor King of Pen. You have Mont Blanc 149, you have Pelican M1000, Mont Blanc 146 for comparison, and a Schaefer Prelude. So in comparison to the size, you would see that it sort of matches up with the 149, but now you see the nib of these pens for comparison, and then you'll have a rough idea about the writing section as well. So let me place them side by side. I generally want to do a very uninterrupted video, so I don't take snaps in between and then try posting them. Let me get them a bit up. Here you see the nib of the pen comparing pretty well with that of a 149, but Pilot Custom Urushi has a very big nib. Size-wise also you would see that these nibs and the part of the pens are pretty big as compared to this. The writing section are almost comparable across all of the four, although I still think that Mont Blanc, maybe it's the shadow, slightly girthier than Sailor King of Pen, but this is really lovely. Holding this pen is a joy. So I'll just pause the video a bit. I'm putting the cap of a different pen on a different pen. I'll just pause it a bit. I'll wind up this mess and then I'll come again. So back again. The weight of the pen being that of resin is slightly comparable to that of 149. Both of them are resin pens. Although I would say that the Sailor KOP may be on a slightly lighter side. I don't have a measuring scale. Maybe soon I'll get that also, and then that would be more appropriate for me to judge the weight. Okay, the best part of the pen is the writing part. So let's get that going. This is a Sailor Pro Gear King of Pen. This one has a broad, this is 21K gold nib. The pen has been inked with Colorverse Gravity Wave, which is a very nice, very well shading greenish turquoisey kind of a color. Lovely color of this ink. This is a very beautiful pen. The problem which I had initially was that whenever I used to take the downstroke with a jerk, there was railroading. The feed was not keeping up with the nib. So I had to send it back. They did some repairs, probably changed the feed. I'm not sure. I was never disclosed the kind of repairs that were undertaken. But now it's like writing like a butter on a paper. Has a very little hint of feedback. The wetness scale is way up there. It's a broad nib, and even the old lines which you see do have a bit of wetness with them. And if I rate the wetness, can't get any better than that. And if I rate the smoothness, well, a tiny hint of feedback would place it somewhere around there. The feedback comparable to a Pilot Custom Urushi or even a Pelican is a tad more. The ink the tines I've checked under the loops, the tines are well aligned, and the tipping is very smooth, so I won't put any blame on malaligned tines. The character of the nib, even with the broad, is very smooth with a slight hint of feedback. It does flex. These long nibs have a tendency to flex, and the feed now is keeping up with the demand of the nib. So reverse writing, I didn't find it very pleasant. But these are not meant for that. Overall, one of the best buys, a very, very beautiful pen. Really impressed with the writing of this pen. After that, it's come from repairs. Just a couple of things which were to the downside. This pen should have been writing well out of the box. There should have been no need for me to send them for repairs. Secondly, the converter system, this converter holds lesser ink than that of a Con 70 converter or even a Pelican M1000, which are piston fillers, and Mont Blanc 149, which are comparable pens. So I would say that the nib, the way I write, the way I use the pen, it dries up within a day, and I have to re-ink the next day, which I don't mind because I get to try multiple inks. And the third thing is that this is a resin pen, so it takes up scratches fast. And here I am comparing this to a Pilot Custom Urushi, which is a Urushi coated pen. Doesn't take scratches as easily as a resin pen. Since I'd sent it for the repairs, after I got this, I could see that the finish of the pen had been slightly worn down also, not the way I had sent it back. In any case, these pens are meant for writing. They are not just meant to be sitting there in the closet or cupboard or pen cases and just being seen once a week or once a month. I love writing with them, sometimes using them as an everyday carrier. So there you go. I hope you like the pen and this introduction or a review of this. Lovely ink. And I see you next time. So Mr. Suman, I hope you got your answers regarding a comparison of this to Pilot Custom Urushi. See you next time, folks.